Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Okay, we have another very interesting case study to talk about. Another refused spousal sponsorship application. Okay, I think it's very clear na kapag ikaw ay nag-apply to sponsor a spouse, isa po talaga sa titignan, ang pangunahing titignan ng IRCC kung tunay ang inyong relasyon, whether you are married or common law partners kayo o conjugal partners. Okay, tunay ba yan? Na talagang nagmamahalan kayo o sadyang pinasok nyo lang itong spousal sponsorship na to dahil gusto nyo mabigyan ng PR yung isa. Ngayon, related dyan, I won't be surprised if there is a notion, no? Well, na mali. This is a mistaken notion or idea na isa sa mga paraan para makumbinsi ang IRCC na tunay ang inyong pagsasama ay kung meron kayong anak. Yan, okay. Siguro naman kapag meron tayong anak, hindi na nila pagdududahan na tunay tayong mag-asawa. Nope. Nope. Not true. Even if you guys have a child together, hindi ibig sabihin po yan, hindi yan nagagaranti na hindi na pagdududahan ng IRCC ang inyong pagsasama. And that is exactly what happened dito po sa ating pag-uusapan. Meron po silang anak. Okay? Pero for the IRCC, no, kinonsidera ng IRCC ang kanilang relasyon na non-genuine. Okay? At yan ang pangunahing naging dahilan kung bakit ni-refuse ang kanilang application. Sige, puntahan na po natin. It is a federal court decision na fairly new. It was only published on the website this month, no? April 2026. Sige, puntahan na natin yung storya. Ang pumunta po sa korte yung magsusponsor. Okay? Kasi ang nangyari, ni-refuse na po ng IRCC yung kanilang application. Nag-appeal na sila sa Immigration Appeal Division, tapos yung Appeal Division, ni-refuse din ang kanilang apela. At ngayon, pumunta na sila sa korte. Ito po yung decision ni judge na yan. Okay, so the applicant is a Canadian citizen. Napangasawa niya, isang Nigerian citizen na nasa US. 2019 sila, okay, nagpakasal. At ang kanilang anak ay pinanganak 2 years later, in October 2021. Yan. Siguro ang daming mga red flags nung kanilang kwento. Dahilan para busisiin ng husto rin ng IRCC ang kanilang file. Ano? Ito po ang una. Prior to their marriage, they became acquainted in December 2018 online. Okay? Through an online platform at doon nag-umpisa ang kanilang relasyon. Okay? Hanggang nagmagkita sila for the first time in person in June 2019. So about 6 months, no? Silang nakikipag-usap online. At the time the relationship began, ito pa isang red flag, no? At the time the relationship began, yung isa sponsor nakatira sa US, pero natuklasan na pumasok pala siya ng US nang walang status. Yan, alam niyo na yung mangyayari dito, no? Pero kahit na meron siyang removal order, parang nakahanap siya ng paraan para hindi mo na i-enforce yung removal order. In fact, malalaman ninyo mamaya, no? So, nagkaroon siya ng removal order, pero hindi ito na-enforce at nakakuha pa siya ng work permit, by the way. Pwede pala yun sa US, ano? Guys, please, enlighten me. Hindi po ako masyado familiar sa immigration processes in the US. But that is what is mentioned here. Okay? Sabi dito, the withholding of removal permitted the sponsoree to remain in the US. Okay, pero klaro na wala na siya magiging PR pathway daw sa Amerika. So, pagkatapos daw nila magpakasal, nagsubmit sila ng spousal sponsorship application. Noong September 2023, nirefuse ang kanilang application dahil, ito nga, no, the marriage was not genuine and had been entered into primarily for the purpose of acquiring PR para dun sa nasa US, nandoon without a clear pathway to permanent residency. As I mentioned, inapela nila ito sa IAD, ito po yung Immigration Appeal Division, at dinismiss rin ng IAD ang kanilang appeal. Yun din ang sinabi ng IAD. Ang primary purpose daw kasi ng kanilang pagsasama was for the sponsoree to obtain status in Canada. Okay, the IAD noted in its analysis that the sponsoree was in a challenging immigration situation in the US at the time he started communicating with the applicant. The IAD noted that his work permit mag-i-expire na rin pala. In short, nakitaan ng dahilan. Una sa lahat, it's clear wala siyang PR pathway sa US, tapos yung work permit niya mag-i-expire. Siguro naghahanap ito ng status in America, kaya napunta siya ng Canada, sa North America naman. Ito yung malungkot, guys. Please remember, ang marriage fraud, hindi lang po ito yung usual na naririnig nating storya na yung dalawang involved mag-uusap, magkukonsyaba na, o sige, okay, yung isa magpapabayad, o sabihin natin na tayo, yung ganyan. Hindi lang po yan ang uri ng marriage fraud. Hindi rin po na yung isa dyan na involved doon sa marriage, okay, ay talagang maghahanap ng paraan para ma-in-love sa kanya yung isa. Okay, no money involved. Okay, talagang mafo-fall in love yung isa na citizen o PR status na pwedeng mag-sponsor sa kanya. Pero siya, wala talaga siyang tunay na pagtingin dun sa tao. Gusto lang talaga niya ng status. That is also marriage fraud. And that is what happened here. Kawawa naman yung Canadian citizen. Ang paniniwala po kasi, pareho ng IRCC tsaka ng IAD, the applicant's involvement in the relationship was genuine. So para doon sa nagsusponsor, totoo ang kanilang relasyon. However, the IAD, for example, had reservations about the sponsoree's intentions and hence the resulting genuineness of the marriage. Bakit? Una na, syempre, wala nga siyang status sa Amerika, wala nga siyang PR prospects sa Amerika. Tapos, nabanggit kanina, nakipag-usap siya at a time na alam niya nang nanganganib na siguro ang kanyang future in the US kasi mag-expire na rin yung work permit niya doon. Pangalawa, meron din daw apparent eagerness to quickly advance the relationship and marry the applicant. So I assume nakuha nila itong idea na to nung in-interview nila yung mag-asawa. It noted that the sponsoree's primary motivation for pursuing marriage appeared to be driven by immigration benefits rather than a genuine emotional connection. Duda kasi talaga sila dun sa timing ng kanyang pakikipag-usap, pakikipagrelasyon. According to the Immigration Appeals Division, in-acknowledge rin naman nila na merong mga positive factors sa application. Tulad ng genuine relationship, I guess, on the part of the applicant, yung magsa-sponsor. May ongoing communication naman, may financial support rin daw, and of course, ito, existence of a child born to the couple in 2021. The thing is, even with these positive factors, it did not outweigh concerns arising from the sponsoree's immigration history. Okay? And also, as you will learn in a while, nung in-interview daw sila, yung usual na inconsistency sa kanilang mga sagot, nakitaan rin daw. Kulang rin daw ang kanilang knowledge tungkol sa isa't isa. This is very common na nakikita ko sa mga nade-deny ng spousal sponsorship. Okay. Puntahan naman natin kung ano yung grounds ng applicant. Paano niya pinaglaban ang kanilang spousal sponsorship. Sabi niya, una, wala naman dong ebidensya before the tribunal na yung status ng kanyang asawa was already precarious or that he faced imminent removal. Siguro ang sinasabi niya, bakit may work permit naman Pero yun nga lang, kasi di ba mag-expire na rin daw pala ng 2025. Okay, pangalawa, ang sabi ni Mrs., the IAD failed to give proper weight to the existence of the child. Okay, ang sabi niya, the existence of a child of the relationship constitutes significant evidence of a genuine marriage. Ito yung sinasabi ko nun sa intro, I guess there is a notion na ganun. No, hindi po siya guarantee talaga. Puntahan naman natin, ano yung mga specific na binanggit ng Appeals Division sa kanilang desisyon. Una, although, he was granted a work permit, mag-i-expire na siya in 2025. Therefore, sabi dito, the sponsoree is undoubtedly in need of refuge and economic opportunities outside of the USA. Ito pa, isang naging red flag. Hindi daw pala sinabi nung mister ang tunay niyang edad doon sa kanyang misis. Sabi dito, The applicant initially had reservations about the sponsoree's intentions regarding the marriage based on his initial conduct, including the fact that he failed to disclose his correct age to the applicant. Ano ba yan? Nakakaloka naman. Ito po batay sa kanilang interview na yata, no? Sabi dito, April 2019, may doubts pa rin daw sa relasyon yung babae. Okay, pero ina-assure daw siya nung lalaki na hindi, mag-meet tayo in person. Okay? Para doon tayo mag-decide sa ating future together. Eto na, nung nagkita na sila, the sponsoree revealed na 28 years old lamang siya, but he looked older. Yung babae naman at the time was 36 years old. Tapos, sinabihan nga daw, no? He also expressed his growing affection for her and asked her to trust him so they could be happy together. Ito nga kawawa naman, ano? The panel finds Miss Booth, yan po yung pangalan ng Mrs., her involvement in this relation be genuinely sincere. However, nagduda sila dun sa intensyon nung lalaki. Puntahan natin yung sinabi tungkol dun sa bata. No? Similar na rin dun sa nabanggit ko kanina. The IAD acknowledges na meron silang anak. Okay? However, the panel does not find their son, who was born in 2021, to be persuasive evidence, okay, that the couple did not enter a marriage in 2019 primarily for immigration purposes. The birth of their son is a positive factor, but it does not outweigh the concerns above in relation to the primary purpose of the marriage. It turns out pala, no, yung nagsusponsor si Mrs., meron din po siyang prior marriage. Obviously, hiwalay na sila at meron siyang 2 anak. Pati yung relasyon nung bago niyang asawa, doon bali sa stepkids, ay naging issue rin para sa IAD. Sabi dito, there was no evidence that the sponsoree has been involved in the applicant's 2 prior children's lives. Okay? Nakilala daw niya yung 2 bata, 2 and 3 years old. Yung 2. Okay? Nung tinatanong daw yung lalaki tungkol sa history ng kanyang misis, wala raw siyang masyadong alam. Ni yung pangalan nung ex-husband, hindi raw alam. O, di ba? Ang daming mga red flags, kumbaga. At ito pa, the applicant for her part, okay, si Mrs., she was also really she was uncertain about her husband's current status in the US and what it entailed. So, posible na hindi naging transparent yung lalaki sa sitwasyon niya, sa immigration situation niya in the US. And then, during the interview rin, ano, tulad ng madalas kong nakikita sa ibang mga refusals. Okay, nung tinatanong tungkol sa bawat isa, ang daming inconsistency sa kanilang sagot when they were asked about their daily routines. And also, the IAD also took it against them na tila wala silang plan B sakaling hindi sila payagang magsama sa Canada. Ang sabi ng IAD, considering na 5 years na rin nagsasama, it would be reasonable to expect na mapag-uusapan nila yung kanilang future sakaling ngang ma-refuse yung kanilang application sa Canada. Sabi dito, indeed, it is reasonable to expect that a couple who has been married for more than 5 years would make such plans and have alternate courses of action. Okay, so ang ending guys, sinabi ni Judge, reasonable naman ang naging desisyon ng IAD, so refused pa rin ang kanilang sponsorship application. The application for judicial review is dismissed. Okay, guys, again, hindi po ibig sabihin na meron kayong anak, sure na hindi na pagdududahan ng IRCC ang inyong pagsasama. Not all the time. Siyempre, there are many other factors being considered. Alright? Okay, I will end this episode here. Let me know what you guys think. See you guys in the next one. Bye!